questions during the chat right here in the chat. This should be as interactive as it can. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. So today we're going to talk about augmented and virtual reality. We're going to show some cool demos. We're going to discuss what are those terms, how can you build an application for AR, VR, and hopefully we'll have fun. So let's start off with a quick introduction. We're echoAR, is one of the sponsors of the hackathons. We're a New York-based company providing tools and network infrastructure for companies and developers who want to build AR, VR, 3D applications. A little bit about myself. My name is Alon. I did a Master's of Computer Science at Columbia University. I did my undergrad Computer Science Electrical Engineering. So certified nerd, obviously, and a big believer in augmented reality and virtual reality. So now that we start, let's level set a little bit. What is virtual reality? What is augmented reality? There might be the chance that some of you already know these concepts, but I think it will be good to level set everything. So virtual reality, or VR, is basically where everything around you is digital. You're fully immersed in a 3D environment. Everything around you is a CGI, computer-generated construct. And your vision is actually occluded. You're wearing this headset that projects to your eyes. So you can't see what's actually around you, but you see this digital world. As opposed to augmented reality, or AR, when everything around you is still real, you're looking at the world through either an optical see-through, like glasses or something like that, or through a video see-through, like your phone, basically using the video camera. And the real world is being overlaid with digital assets and being overlaid with computer-generated imagery around you. So you can still see what's around you, but you get extra enhancement through digital assets. An amazing example of that is the classic movie Space Jam, in which we have Michael Jordan being teleported into Looney Town, interacting with the Looney Tunes, and everything around him is completely cartoonish. Everything around him is digital. Everything is just a cartoon image that he needs to interact with, as opposed to what we have later in the movie, which is augmented reality, where the Looney Tunes come to our world. We're able to play with them on a real basketball court. They can interact with Bill Murray. So this is obviously a comical example, but this shows you the different way between us coming to Looney Town and Looney Town coming to us. Another example of augmented reality is actually my research back at Columbia University. But before we dive into that, I want to show you some real-world examples of augmented reality. So AR is what a lot of people see in the real world, like as Pokemon Go. You can run around, play around with digital monsters. And virtual reality is like, for this example, this game, Beat Saber, they can play around in a fully digital environment, cut all these cubes while you're listening to music. Another example of AR is what I just mentioned. Like back in the day at Columbia, we took CT and MRI 2D scans, converted them into 3D models, put them on HoloLens, that's like a smart glasses made by Microsoft, and we gave them for physicians to wear during surgery and basically get a 3D representation of the patient's anatomy in real time. That was an amazing experience. That shows how effective 3D and AR is in a surgical environment. Suddenly they're able to have this 3D representation of the patient's anatomy. They're able to better see and engage the patient during the surgery. I personally scrubbed into that surgery, which was insane. As an engineer, no one even checked my ID. I'm going into the OR, giving the doctor those headsets, and suddenly they started drilling inside the patient. The problem was that I had to do something that I hate, and that was waking up in the morning. Every morning, I had to go to the hospital, 6 a.m., convert their 2D scans to 3D models, and basically rebuild the application for physicians to get new content. That was so frustrating. I mean, as an engineer, I only wanted to do two things, and that's manage 3D data and deliver it to an AR device. And talking to other developers who are working on augmented reality applications for retail, games, data visualization, shopping, they all said the same thing. There's no easy way to manage and deliver 3D data. But if you think about it, that problem was solved for 2D, right? For web and mobile. Like, you don't have to be a web developer or a mobile developer to build applications at scale. 10 years ago, when web was a big thing, Heroku created this backend as a service for web. 5 years later, mobile apps were a thing. So companies like Parse and Firebase created backends as a service for mobile. And now we had web, now mobile, and now we have this new technology of AR, VR, 3D. And the question has to be asked, who will build that cloud service specifically for that? And you guessed it, that's echoAR. That's what we do. We basically provide tools and network infrastructure for companies who want to build 3D and VR and AR applications at scale. So let's see how it works. So the same way you don't need to be a web developer to drag and drop an image or video and suddenly that appears on web and mobile. Or if I'm in New York and you're in California and we're both watching an episode on Netflix, we automatically get the best streaming experience. We translate these concepts into augmented reality, basically providing you with a way to manage and deliver 3D data and get the best 3D streaming experience. And in a sec, we'll see how we do that. And what's interesting here is like, this is a bidirectional connection. Like you as a user, you can't move an image or a video on a website, but you can definitely move a virtual couch across the room. And if you want to see if it fits in the room, if you want to see if it matches the drapes, stuff like that. So we've basically built this 3D first CMS and CDN solution, content management system and delivery network that allows developers to build applications really, really fast and really, really efficiently. You should have gotten a link from your hackathon organizers to register for free for one of our business tiers. So definitely take advantage of that. If you didn't see the link, reach out to your event organizers because we're sponsoring one of the because we're sponsoring the hackathon. We provide all the participants with free premium plans. Oh, and I see one of our team members just shared the link here. If not, you can also register just on our website. We're also sponsoring one of the sponsored prizes in the event, so definitely make sure to take advantage of that. We're going to give a prize to the best AR, VR, 3D application built on Echo. Okay, if there's any questions, feel free to write them in the chat. If not, I'm going to move towards a quick demo. So what you see on the left right here is the content management system that you get access to right after you register. You're going to get an API key automatically after you register, and you'll get an email, an automatic email as well. Aside from that, you just see here my phone is on the right. So I'm going to start with something super, super simple. I'm going to upload a fan favorite 3D model of the Empire State. Again, we're a New York-based company, so the Empire State is a staple right around here. I'm uploading to our cloud. What happens right now is that we take that 3D model, we convert and compress it to work in Android, iOS, magically Polygons, you name it. Once that's done, I'm going to plug in the same API key. It will stream the data from the cloud to the device. This is obviously a sample app, but if you're a developer, you obviously have your own app. Then the camera opens. The camera recognizes there's a floor here, so let's see that. And then once it recognizes the floor, bam, I have the Empire State here with me. And I can add as many as I can. Super, super easy, super, super nice. The thing is, what happens when I want to change this? So instead of having the Empire State, I want something else. So instead of rebuilding the application or doing anything technical, I'm going to go back here, delete the previous entry, upload something else, and it'll automatically update. So let's do that. I'm going to upload this other building, for example. Once that's done, I'm going to open the exact same app. By the way, you can download this app right here on the Play Store. Just once you register, just like click on the Android app right here and get a link. There you go. Suddenly inside the Empire State, I have this building. Super, super simple. All I had to do is like press a few buttons, and that's it. And I have my experience ready to go. The cool thing about it is like it's not only mobile. So remember, I talked to you about us delivering content anywhere. So if you want, like, for example, we worked with clients who didn't want to have an app, they wanted to have a web experience. No worries, you go to our website /WebXR, it will stream the data from the cloud to the browser instead of the app. So you don't even have to install anything. So let's do that. Come on. Wi-Fi seems a little spotty. Yeah, not sure what's not loading. No worries, I'll move on to the next thing. So I'm going to move to a different web application. I'm going to scan this QR code, and you can actually do it with me. Let's do that. Perfect. So I'm scanning this QR code. You can do the same, which is visible on the screen. It will open a camera. The camera will scan the QR code, and voila, you'll be able to see the building literally pop out of the screen. Super, super simple. And all you have to do is upload that 3D model. And if you want to switch it, no worries at all. So we saw mobile, we saw web. Let's show another example of Unity. That's a game engine that a lot of people use. Basically allows you to stream data as well. We have a Unity SDK that, again, you can download from here. I'm going to press to basically see the 3D model, but let's take it a step further. Let's say now I want to change something. I want to make it rotate in real time. So let's add some data here. I'm going to do direction equals right. And bam, suddenly it starts to rotate. Super, super easy, super, super clean. Let's say I want to change the scale of it. No worries. Let's do scale equals 2. Bam, suddenly it's 2 times bigger. So these are obviously simple examples, but you can add any content that you want, any flag, any key and value pair to basically enable or disable features. You're only limited by your imagination. It could be literally anything. Now let's see other stuff. So we saw mobile, we saw web, we saw different types of AR, right? Like we saw surface detection. The camera recognizes the floor and basically triangulates a surface in which we're projecting 3D models. But we also saw an example in which you uploaded an image like a QR code, and the camera recognizes that image. So that's surface detection as opposed to image recognition. But what if you want to add your own image? So we allow you to do that as well. Like you don't have to use QR codes. So I'd do that. So I'm going to upload, let's do the Empire State again. I'm going to choose an image here. So instead of doing anywhere, I'm going to do an on image. And I'm going to choose a random image. Let's do this one, uploading that. Now we have the same process. The 3D model is being converted. So work on Android, iOS, mobile, web, whatever. But also we convert the image itself. So it will work for the camera to recognize. So I'm going to use the QR code. And again, you can do that too if you want right now. I'm going to scan that QR code. It will redirect me to a website. But after that, you'll see that like the camera doesn't pick up on the QR code anymore because it needs the custom image. So if I'll press here and go to the marker, there you go. Suddenly that 3D model appears out of the computer automatically. Super, super simple. Oops. Unity just open. Let's move that up. There you go. Super, super simple. We're able to see the 3D model projected on the image, on the custom image. So for example, you can have your business card, and every time someone scans your business card, they're able to see a 3D model or maybe a video if you talk. That's another example I want to show you. Let's do a cool example of a video. So instead of choosing a 3D model, which you can choose here, whatever, like you can choose 3D models here. You can search for any 3D model that you want. Any category will fetch 3D models for free that you can use. I'm going to throw in a video. So that will be like an MP4 file, uploading to our cloud. Same process again. Now we're just compressing the video, so it'll work in 3D. And then once that is done, let's scan this QR code. There you go. And there you go. We have that video automatically playing. Again, it could be, say, your business card, and then your business card shows a video if you're talking. We worked with a company who did the scavenger hunt game that basically had QR codes around them. And that was really, really cool to see how they're able to interact with people with scanning stuff and seeing videos. Another thing that I want to show you is how you can spawn another web application. So if you just go to the console through your phone, basically the same access, loading the key, you're able to have this small icon that basically allows you to see 3D models through the web with no installation in your space automatically. So let's see that. There you go. Voila, suddenly you're able to see the Empire State on the floor with web without installing anything. Super simple. Try it yourself once you register for an API key. Perfect. So we saw web, we saw mobile, we saw videos. Let's also see other features that we can have. So we can actually tag locations here. So you can have, for example, New York, and then say, okay, this 3D model has an extra layer of data of the location where it persists. And then when you query the data, you're able to basically get one generic app that will serve data. When you're in New York, it's going to put out the Empire State. If you're California, or San Francisco, we'll give you the Golden Gate Bridge. That's another example of a different target that you can choose, basically allowing you to match data with locations. Okay, so we saw 3D models, we saw videos, we saw images. Let's do another thing. Let's go through some other stuff that we can do in the console. So as I mentioned, you download the all the SDKs here. If you need any help, you can always refer to the documentation. Either go to docs.echoAR.xyz or just use this to jump right in. This is a step-by-step guide of everything I just showed you. So you can always go back here, go through the steps, and it will allow you to do the same thing I just did. Really easy to understand, really easy to go with. We also provide some a lot of coding examples on our GitHub, again, accessible through here. They're able to basically start a project that we already built half of the code for you. This is obviously useful for hackathons right now. If you're trying to build something, we already have robust examples of how you can start building and how you can basically kickstart your application with some already pre-built example code that already integrates to our cloud. If there's any questions, feel free to reach out on our Slack support channel, and we'll be happy to help. So we saw the content. Let's see the data that we can have. So as we saw earlier, you're able to match data to 3D models. Perfect. That's obviously super useful. But you're also able to add data across the project. So for example, the scavenger hunt game that I mentioned had 3D models associated with scenes, but also had like project level data about users, about stuff that you can store on the platform. Payments as well. It's a really quick way to manage like how much API calls you've made, how much storage and bandwidth you're using. All of you are going to get this tier for free as long as you register through the hackathon. When it comes to location, this is a way for you to see. Remember, we tagged this 3D model. So we see that the Arctic fox is being positioned in New York. It could be anywhere. You're able to see usage. You're able to see which are the servers that we're using currently and switch them off and on. Some security features like secure access, data anonymization, obviously. Everything you send is SSL encrypted, and you're able to add more people to your project. Some insights that you can have, again, goes back to the usage. How much people are using your 3D models, you can have those right here. And some analytics around like the project itself and some history of what's going on in the project. You can see that here as well. You can see users who are using the application across the world. Some tutorials and like frequently asked questions can be accessible here. They'll redirect you automatically to the console, to the documentation to see really, really quick guides on how to kickstart off. And my favorite page, which is the inspiration, that basically allows you to see a bunch of ideas about what you can build in AR, VR, like the scavenger hunt that I mentioned, or like a cool project we did with Verizon, or navigation, or insurance even, like all these different things. We're really limited only by our imagination. So look through all these amazing examples, some of them powered by echoAR, some are not. To get a sense of what you can build. There's a few COVID-related projects we had here from previous hackathons, so definitely check them out as well. This was a really cool project that someone used QR codes to visualize the spread of COVID. A pretty impressive project. Definitely check it out as well. Is there any questions that I can address? So definitely write them in the chat if you have some. If not, I'll just move to another coding example that has that is a little more advanced. So if there's any questions, feel free to write them here. If not, I'll just move on to the next example. Okay, so we're going to do a Unity example. Let me upload them per state real quick. We're going to do a really quick coding example. So this is Unity. This is the game engine that a lot of developers use to build AR, VR applications. It's very robust. I obviously recommend it a lot. And let's see how we can use it. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to start the step, like this is an empty scene. All you have to do when you start a new project with Unity is just download our SDK right here. You download that SDK, you double click it, it automatically starts, and then you can open this empty sample scene right here. For example, sample. This is the scene, has nothing in it except for our SDK. I'm going to plug in my API key inside and press play. What's going to happen right now is like that 3D model that we love and used a lot, this Empire State, will automatically stream into Unity. So you don't have to have anything configured. Like it will automatically appear in Unity. All you have to do is press play. So let's see that. Whoops, where's the 3D model? Oh, Murphy's Law, obviously. Wait, let's reload this. Reload the console right here. Upload that 3D file. Go back and press play. There you go. Temporary state is right here. We're able to see it. We're able to interact with it. Super, super simple. If I'll add the fox that we saw earlier, let's do that. The fox will automatically appear here. So it's actually inside the building. So let's move it a little bit. So the same way the last time we just added some data, we can do it now. So let's go to the fox. Let's add, for example, x equals 10. And voila, suddenly the fox moves a little bit to the left or right of the building. Super simple, but this is how you're able to construct the scene. Let's also make the building rotate because we love that feature. Bam, it automatically starts rotating. And the cool thing about what we saw is that this is actually a stateful content management system. That means it saves the scene as it is. If I'll stop the scene, everything disappears. Like nothing persists on your device. Your app can be super, super small, and the content will be streamed to Unity. Once I press play again, the content will return, and it will return in the exact same state that it was before. So check this out. So now we have the building still rotating, the fox being 10 feet away. Super simple, but again, like allows you to keep your state of the scene intact. Super simple. Okay, so we saw different examples right here of how to use Unity. Let's take it a step further and maybe dig into some coding example that we can have. So for example, let's see. So example could be every 3D model that is instantiated with this script called custom behavior. Let me open that up. So this is a simple script in Unity. It's basically C#. If you know Java or any other object-oriented languages, you're all good to go. So what we have here is two really distinct functions. One is called start and one's called update. Start happens when you start. So every time you press play or the app opens, that's when your code is being instantiated. And as opposed to update, which is a really interesting scene. Remember that you're coding in 3D now. That means like computer-generated imagery is happening all the time. Update is like almost like an infinite for loop or like a while true loop that happens every single frame. So every time something happens, this function is being called, and every frame of your application, this function executes something. So let's see a really quick example code. So we have here, we add some script to the game object, and here we say, oh, if this entry has some additional data, let's see if that additional data contains a variable called name. If it does, set the name of the game object to that name. Pretty straightforward. Let's see that in action. So we're going to press play again. We see that we have the 3D models, but they don't have a name attached to it. So let's attach a name to the fox. Let's do name equals, what's a good name for a fox? Let's do Kevin as the name of the fox. Perfect. And now when we're going to press play, the same script from the start function will instantiate, and we'll be able to see that the fox is now named Kevin appropriately. So there you go. All we had to do is just change the name a little bit. But if I change this now, so for example, Sam, this thing will stay the same. It's still Kevin. And the reason is because that function of changing the name happened only in the beginning. Now you want to do something else. You want to change it all the time. So we can go back here. We can move this code snippet from start to update. So this will happen every single frame. And then I'm going to save this, press play again, and you'll see that now we'll have a fox named Sam. Let's see that. Come on, Unity. Do it. Okay, let's wait for Unity to reload a little bit. Perfect. We have this fox named Sam, but now if we change its name to Kevin, and go back here, bam, the name changed to Kevin. So these are obviously like really simple examples, but that shows you how you can change things in real time, how you can add features, how you can have flags that basically allow you to control flows or features that you want to enable or disable remotely. Super simple. Any questions so far? And if not, I'll move to a more advanced coding example. So feel free to ask questions in the chat right here. If not, that's okay. Okay, so I'm going to upload another 3D file. It's called Earth. There you go. So we're going to build together some COVID visualizer to basically see the COVID spread across the world. So I'm going to upload a fan favorite 3D model again. That's a 3D model of the globe. Same process, uploading to our cloud, making sure that it works. Now, as you can see, I chose a file from my computer instead of like searching it from on the search or whatever. We see that 3D file here, amazing Earth. Let's make it rotate because obviously it's Earth, so it has to rotate. Press play. So we'll have the same 3D model appear in front of us. But now, let's have a different, yeah, perfect. You have the Earth, it's rotating. Let's have a different file. So I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to swap the custom behavior script that you saw earlier with another script. So let's do that. So I'm going to just delete that. And now when I go back to the custom behavior script, we have a different script. It's a little longer, has more data in it. So let's go through what I just did. So I changed, all I had to do just to change the script, the custom behavior script, to have a different experience. I'm going to plug some data in because I added features that request additional data, for example, names of continents. So let's do that. So I'm plugging in some 3D, some names of continents, super easy, super quick. Just random values right here. Perfect. And now when I go back to Unity and press play, my new custom behavior script will load and run something that parses that data that I just injected, like the continent data. And voila, you're able to see that now I actually have this visualizer of how many COVID cases we had around the world. And we're able to like run this. Maybe we'll scale the 3D model a little bit. So let's do scale equals 2. Bam, now it's a little bigger, perfect. So what do we have here? Let's go through the code together. By the way, this code is open source and you're able to find it right here in our Unity example on our GitHub. So make sure to go there as well. So let's see that. So what do we have here? We have the exact same start function, right, that checks the name, whatever. But in the update function, what we have is a really cool script that basically, one, looks for a scale, goes through all the continents. So every frame, we were going through the names of the continents. We're parsing the value into an integer. Once we get that integer, we see, okay, do we have a graph for that or not? If we don't, we create a cylinder. That cylinder will be that bar graph that we saw. And then we color it, make the size to be some sort of size for the 3D model for that cylinder. And then we set a text, the name of the continent, for example. And if we delete it, like if no data exists, we destroy that. So let's see how it's destroyed if there's no data. So if I'm going to delete, for example, Antarctica, right, like we see it here, I'm going to delete it. I go back here, bam, that data point disappears. So super, super simple, super cool. Another really, really quick thing that you can build in really like 5 minutes or so. So definitely think about that when you're building your applications. What can I build really quick? How can I interact with 3D models? How can I show things that are super, super engaging in 3D just by throwing in some 3D models and doing some calculations? So definitely check that out. And again, you can have this example. It's open source. Start with it. Expand it to do something much cooler. Definitely sounds like a hackathon winner if you do something around COVID and this thing. Any questions so far? If not, I'll move back to the slides. Let's delete this. Perfect. So let's not save this. Let's go back to the slides. Okay. So let's recap what we saw so far. So with Echo, you're able to choose any client-side application. If you want to do web, mobile, Unity, we saw an extensive example of that. And then you can control the content remotely through the web console. You can drag and drop images, videos, 3D models, and basically we make sure to build, store, and deliver those contents into all these different devices. Developers save time and money in building their application. You saw you're able to build your front end, you hook up to our cloud, and that's it. You can stream data automatically. You don't have to build your backend for that. Also, obviously, content creators who are non-techies, and sometimes hackathon obviously have people who are not techies. You saw how many cool applications and how many cool experiences I was able to build with no code at all. The first 50% of the talk today was all about just like drag and dropping stuff, and you don't have to do anything technical. And companies who work with us are obviously able to scale their applications to enterprise level. Let's talk about some use cases. So we discussed the healthcare one for surgery. Games obviously is a big one. Shopping, you can visualize stuff. Advertising, interior design, we mentioned that as well. Tourism. You're limited again only by your imagination. Think in 3D. Think of what things you can build on right now. Again, COVID is a big thing, so try to figure out how you can build things around maybe visualization or maybe helping essential workers with interacting with stuff. 3D is definitely the way to go. A little bit about us. We won a bunch of competitions, and we're backed by some of the top investors in the country. Super fortunate to have people like Techstars and Verizon be supporting our efforts. And we've been featured in all these amazing events like AWE, which is like the top AR/VR conference in the world. We love to say that we're the track for all the horses are running on the AR/VR space. So people are trying to build applications and headsets, and we're trying to build a cloud to connect them all. And yeah, remember to register for your platform for free. Again, you have a link from your organizers to basically get a free access to our premium tier. And if you're building with echoAR, you'll be able to be eligible for our sponsored prize. So definitely check that out. Yeah, so that was echoAR, helping you build better 3D apps, grow your business, focus on your product, and leave the service right to us. If there's any questions, feel free to write them now. If not, that's okay. You can always reach out through our Slack channel. Thanks, Rachel. Happy you enjoyed it. Definitely love to see amazing works that you were going to do after the hackathon. Looking to be impressed. Again, feel free to reach out on our Slack for any support. Our team will jump in to help you build those applications. Remember that you have the documentation with you that you can always refer to, and the GitHub that has a few projects already open source that you can start to play with. Thank you for being at this workshop. Stay safe and healthy, and come on, start building amazing things. Where would the link of the recording? And I assume it will send it to the organizers. I'm sure they're going to send it out either through email or Discord or something like that, or Slack, whatever they're using. On the Slack, perfect. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good one.